It was just after dawn in Yokosuka. News anchors across Asia stared at their screens in disbelief. Japan launches its first true aircraft carrier since World War II, flashed across every channel. The world watched live as the mighty warship, escorted by destroyers, slipped silently into the blue Pacific. Helicopters whirred overhead, reporters' voices crackled with excitement, and yeah, just a hint of tension. The carrier's massive deck gleamed in sunlight, dwarfing nearby ships. Japanese sailors stood at attention, crisp uniforms pressed, faces calm but proud. In Tokyo, politicians and analysts hurried to newsrooms and studios, offering rapid-fire opinions. "This changes everything," one expert declared. For decades, Japan had kept its military small and defensive, limited by its post-war constitution. Now, all that had changed. The carrier marked a new era. In Beijing, government officials watched closely, some with concern, others with quiet admiration. The Pacific, once stable and predictable, suddenly felt uncertain. Across the region, people wondered, was this the start of a new arms race, or a bold step towards stronger security? The story was just beginning. No one expected Japan to move so boldly. For years, its naval ships were called helicopter destroyers. They were big, but not true carriers. Now, with a single announcement, Japan had joined the ranks of carrier powers. The launch was more than just a technical upgrade. It was a political earthquake. Asian leaders scrambled to respond. In Seoul, South Korean officials met behind closed doors, discussing what this could mean for their own security. In Canberra, Australia's defense minister called for urgent talks with allies. Even in Washington, Pentagon planners took notice. The Pacific chessboard had a new piece, and everyone was rethinking their strategies. China, in particular, was caught by surprise. For years, Beijing had grown used to its own rapid naval expansion. A powerful Japanese carrier was not in their immediate plans. Social media in China buzzed with speculation and worry. Is Japan preparing for war? Some asked, while others wondered what the United States would do next. It was clear. Japan's new carrier was not just another ship, it was a game changer, forcing every country in the region to take a second look at their military balance and future plans. The reaction from Beijing came quickly, and honestly, pretty sharply. Official statements urged restraint and warned against any moves that might destabilize the region. Chinese state media ran editorials, some accusing Japan of reviving old ambitions. The memories of World War II still run deep in China, making any sign of Japanese military strength a sensitive issue. Chinese generals gave interviews, reminding the world of their own powerful navy. "We are prepared to defend our interests," one admiral declared. At the same time, Chinese military planners quietly studied the new carrier's capabilities. How would it affect their strategy in the East China Sea? What about the long-disputed Senkaku Islands, claimed by both countries? Not all the reaction was negative. Some Chinese experts admitted that Japan's move was logical, given the changing security environment. After all, China's own modern carriers had reshaped the region's balance. Still, the sense of unease was clear. Every new ship, every new weapon, seemed to push the region closer to a dangerous edge. Ordinary Chinese citizens also took notice. Online forums filled with debate, from calls for stronger defenses to worries about a Pacific arms race. The shadow of history and the uncertainty of the future loomed large over both countries. For decades, Japan followed a path of self-restraint. Its post-war constitution, written under United States guidance, renounced war as a right. The military, called the Self-Defense Forces, was limited in size and scope. But times changed. North Korea's missiles, China's growing navy, and threats to vital sea lanes forced Japan to rethink its defenses. The new carrier is not just a ship. It is a symbol of Japan's readiness to protect its interests and support its allies. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida called the launch a turning point for Japanese security. He stressed that the carrier would be used for defense, peacekeeping, and humanitarian missions, not aggression. Still, the message was clear. Japan was back as a maritime power. The carrier's sleek lines and advanced systems showed the world that Japan could build and operate world-class warships. It also signaled trust in alliances, especially with the United States, which encouraged Japan to take a bigger role. This carrier is a statement. Japan is no longer content to stand on the sidelines. It is ready to defend itself, help its partners, and shape the future of the Pacific. It's easy to see the Pacific as just a contest between the United States and China, but honestly, the truth is far more complicated than that. Dozens of countries have a stake in the region's stability, from Vietnam to the Philippines, from Indonesia to India. All are watching Japan's new carrier with interest, and for some, with a bit of relief. Australia, for example, has pretty deep ties with Japan. Both countries face similar concerns about China's rise and the security of those vital sea lanes. South Korea, though wary of Japan's history, also worries about North Korea and the growing influence of China. Even Southeast Asian nations, often caught between bigger powers, are looking for reassurance. Japan's carrier is now part of a much bigger security web. It's likely to sail with ships from other nations, join joint exercises, and help patrol those busy trade routes. This kind of cooperation is absolutely key to keeping peace in a region full of rivalries and old disputes. So, while the headlines focus on the United States and China rivalry, the real story is about many nations, each with their own interests and fears, trying to shape a safer Pacific. Why does the Taiwan Strait matter so much? It's just 180 kilometers wide, but it carries a huge part of the world's trade. Nearly half of all container ships pass through these waters. If the strait closed, global supply chains would be in chaos. Electronics, cars, and even basic goods could disappear from shelves worldwide. But the strait is also a flashpoint. China claims Taiwan as its own. The United States and its allies, including Japan, have promised to help Taiwan defend itself. Any conflict here could drag in many countries and quickly grow into something much bigger. Japan's location makes it a frontline state. Its islands stretch from north to south, forming a natural barrier along the Pacific edge of East Asia. The new carrier gives Japan the power to project force, patrol the strait, and support allies in a crisis. That's why the carrier matters so much. It's not just about pride, it's about keeping the world's trade arteries open and stopping small disputes from spiraling into war. The heart of Japan's new power is its Asumo-class carrier. At first glance, it looks like a giant floating runway, but underneath, it's packed with the latest technology. The carrier can launch helicopters, drones, and, most importantly, F-35B stealth jets. Its advanced radar and communication systems let it track threats over vast distances. The Asumo class is designed for flexibility. It can hunt submarines, provide disaster relief, or serve as a command center in crises. The ship's crew is highly trained, drilled for emergencies from missile attacks to search and rescue missions. Japan's Navy, once focused on coastal defense, now has a ship that can operate far from home. What sets the Asumo class apart is its ability to work with allies. The carrier's systems are compatible with United States and NATO standards, making joint operations easier. It can refuel helicopters, repair jets, and share intelligence in real time with partners. All this makes the Asumo class more than just a ship. It's a floating symbol of Japan's new reach and determination. Japan's new carrier would be far less powerful without the F-35B. This jet is a marvel. A stealth fighter that can take off from short decks, land vertically, and fly undetected by most radars. Pilots call it the most advanced fighter in the world. For Japan, it's a game changer. The F-35B allows the carrier to launch airstrikes, intercept enemy planes, and scout far beyond the horizon. Its sensors can track ships, submarines, and missiles, sending live data back to commanders. In a crisis, the F-35B can hide from enemy radar until it's too late. Japan is training a new generation of pilots to master these jets. The F-35B's presence also reassures allies. If trouble flares in the Taiwan Strait or elsewhere, Japan can respond quickly, working side by side with United States and allied forces. Having the F-35B doesn't just boost Japan's offense, it strengthens defense too, deterring attacks and giving Tokyo a powerful voice in regional security. Japan's carrier is not sailing alone. Strong alliances are its backbone. The United States welcomes Japan's new strength, seeing the carrier as vital for shared Pacific defense. Joint exercises, intelligence sharing, and coordinated patrols are already underway. The United States Navy and Japan's maritime self-defense force now work closer than ever. Australia and South Korea also benefit. Together, these countries form a security network that can respond to threats faster and more flexibly. The carrier can join Australian ships on patrol or support South Korean forces facing North Korean aggression. But there are limits. Japan's constitution still restricts offensive action. The United States remains the ultimate security guarantor. Some Asian neighbors, remembering history, watch Japan's moves with caution. Still, the new carrier changes the calculus for everyone. The Pacific balance of power is shifting. With Japan's carrier at sea, the region faces new risks, but also new chances for peace. The world will be watching.